Kai Smith, Coach Hurley.
Is Coach coming?
He's coming.
He gets to meet.
You want to get on that side?
I don't want to sit next to her. He's going to be in the middle. Oh. These worlds.
We'll start right off the bat with questions for these guys. There's a mic, I think. Dave, then this guy, then Anthony. Sorry. Is there a mic or? No. Okay, go ahead, Dave.
No mic?
No.
Malachi, can you just take us through that 4-point play there? Did you know the shot clock was winding down and it seemed like you had to do it up there desperation, but just take us through that play?
Yeah, I didn't know the shot clock was going off, so I just looked at the sideline. Everybody told me shoot it, and he fouled me, so I was trying to concentrate at least a little bit. We could hit the rim. I went in. Gladly we got that. They reviewed it and counted.
And Eric had those two offensive rebounds in that possession. How big was that? And how big was his game overall?
Yeah, they were good rebounds. Just plays that we needed. Coach always talking about making plays. And he's been doing a good job. Just making progress with that. We needed those 2 rebounds, especially in the close game. They were bound to make a run anytime soon, so we needed those 2 extra possessions.
Go here, then here.
Alex, Illinois went 6 for 29 from the 3-point line tonight. Can you just talk about the defense your team played tonight?
That was probably number one on the scouting report, just limit them from the 3-point line, is being able to contain them off the bounce. We could have done a better job with the pick and roll defense, but making sure they don't get open threes. I mean, they got lineups out there where all 5 guys can shoot threes, so making sure we scramble for each other, help each other out, and for the most part, we did a good job.
Yeah, Malachi, you came in, you scored 14 points, and you had 9 assists. What was it about your game tonight that helped the team calm themselves and perform in the minutes that you had?
Yeah, just for myself, I just want to make sure I'm ready whenever my number is called. Like I said earlier, Silas got in some foul trouble. My number was called. They needed me to come in early in the second half and also in the first half. But I just wanted to make sure, I make plays, control the game, get my shooters some good shots, attack the paint. When my shot is there, make it count.
Go Zags, then Dan in the back.
Alex, what's it like having Tarris and Braylon back, and how much better can you guys be going forward as a whole unit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're both pushing through right now, and obviously Braylon's first ever college game, so he's going to continue to get better. And Tarris, he's still striving, just to get his rhythm back and just continue to be comfortable out there. So, I mean, having those 2 guys back changes everything for us offensively, defensively, and it just makes us even more dangerous. So I'm excited for that.
Good. Anything else for student athletes? Go ahead, Jake.
Alex, you've seen Hassan as a stabilizing force off the bench when Tristan was at the point. How much of that do you see in Malachi, especially today when Silas didn't have it going for part of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a huge spark off the bench for us, and just the energy that he has on and off the court, and just how unselfish he was today. He really changed the game for us, and it's Mally's world. Yeah, Mally's world today.
It was. And he was being an asshole in practice 2 days ago. So he actually didn't deserve to play like that.
Mally's world.
Now he thinks that's what you should do.
No, sir. No, sir.
All right, questions for Coach?
Coach,
Do you need any more for them, or could these guys go hit the showers?
You smell me?
That's what I'm saying.
Here's your guys.
That's it. Thank you.
There you go.
You want to make a statement?
Yeah. Hey, listen. I thought, just playing Illinois, it's a privilege. I get so much respect for Brad and the staff and just the level of their program, and just as a basketball lifer, growing up and watching the Fighting Illini and so many of the great players that played there, and over the years, starting with Coach Henson was my memory. So it's just an honor and a privilege, I think, to share the court with a program that's at their level. That is just like us. They got some stuff that they've got to figure out during the course of the year to reach their potential. But I think they have as high a ceiling with their team as any team that we've played, so I'm excited to be able to return the game next year, go play in Chicago versus such a great college basketball brand.
Okay, in the back, right there.
Dave,
When you consider the depth of your team, how encouraging is it to see Malachi play that way when Silas is in foul trouble, and to see Eric play that way when Tarris isn't quite himself?
Yeah, I mean, I think going into the year, that was, that was where our confidence about what we could potentially be at some point. Now, we need Tarris healthy. We need, this was a step for Braylon today to get 10 minutes under his belt. I mean, he was on a minutes restriction. Tarris was on a 15-minute restriction. Braylon was around the same. I should have gotten one more run in the first half, but I think short term with the schedule that we're playing, it was very, very dangerous for us to play the level of opponents that we're playing without a healthy team, especially a guy like Tarris Reed, who is one of the most impactful players in the country. He's one of the best big guys in the country. He's going to be an NBA draft pick this year. He changes everything about our offense and defense. But that being said, his situation health-wise has been great for Eric. It's giving us two centers, I think, that are going to be able to play at a high level, and that's been the key to a lot of our success in 23 and 24.
Go ahead, Zach.
Just
Why wearing Davidson shirt?
my daughter's on the track team.
All right, fair enough.
Going forward with Tarris and Braylon, how much better can your team be with them as you integrate them, and how does it change kind of the upside of your team, long term?
I just think Tarris changes so much, and you saw it negatively as the game wore on today. Not having Tarris as a guy, because he was in no position for us really to use him offensively today. I mean, it was not saying it was Willis Reed out there, it was not the same circumstances, but for us it felt like that, where it's just his presence, his physical presence, his size, just occupying some minutes so that Eric didn't have to play 30 plus. But he changes us offensively and defensively. We start playing in a donut. When we start running around the three-point line too much because we don't have enough diversity on offense, he solves a lot of that problem, because you're talking about a guy who's a 70% shooter when we throw him the ball around the block area. So just getting Tarris back healthy, hopefully a lot healthier for the Kansas game, and then obviously Braylon. We want to get these guys now, to the point where maybe going into Tuesday you're not talking about minutes restrictions, because those two guys are going to change our team a lot.
Go ahead.
Coach, defensively, 6 for 29, you held Illinois at the three-point line. Can you just talk about the defense and how good that side of the ball was today?
Yeah, I think that, they got great schemes, and they're so good in isolations. And I think, Stojakovic was a guy that we talked about relentlessly, as a guy that would just, we had to show a lot of bodies to, limit his rim attacks, and same thing with Merkovich. I think those are the two guys with Boswell as the third, because he's the head of the snake. But he had a great game. He's a great player. But yeah, these guys are really, really hard to guard, and just like us, it's early in the year. I think they have a chance to be as good as anybody. They've got their stuff that they've got to figure out. It's still November, just like most teams in the country. But I think they're elite.
All the way to the back.
When you guys were up by 20 at one point in the second half, and you just refused to go away, but you still figured out a way to get the job done, obviously. What are some of the things you think that this group, with the new guys coming in here, get back healthy and everything, can help learn to help you guys close out games down the stretch moving forward?
Yeah, some things went on. Obviously Silas had played 19 minutes, was in foul trouble. A lot of that was how good Boswell is. He's just so hard to guard. But I thought Brad, just running and jumping, and we were in a pretty good rhythm in terms of running our stuff. And then I think that we haven't seen a lot of just half-court trapping, and I think that that's something obviously that we were not prepared for. It's not something that you really practice against. So I thought that adjustment that they made just to blitz us and get us out of the stuff we were running was really smart by him and his staff. And then obviously we fouled a lot. They were struggling to score. We played a very high level defense. Some of it I thought were and then I stopped and didn't finish that. But then I've also, too, our Ken Palm Luck is going to drop whatever it was to whatever it is, because I don't know what the free throws. They were 17 for 18, and what did
17 for 18.
what did Bryant just shoot?
They were 20 for 21.
Yes, I left my glasses on the court. Somebody found my glasses. So what is the math on that?
That would be 37 for 39.
Our last two opponents have shot 37 for 39 from the free throw line.
Right here.
I know you don't care about that badge.
Dave, you said this team, Illinois, can be elite eventually. What do you think it's going to take to get there, and why do you think they can be elite?
I mean, they just got a lot of just different pieces that are trying to, figure out their roles. I mean, this is really their third real big game of the year. They got two centers that, very easily today, the Z could have hit two of those 5 threes, and it's a different game. Mirkovic today, I thought we guarded him well, but I also, too, we caught him on a day where he wasn't at his best. So, Stojakovic, they're loaded with players. They got a great bench. They're deep. They're tall. They got a great offensive scheme. That drop coverage is tough to play against. It's will they get enough shooting? Will they make enough threes? They shoot a lot of threes. We caught them on a night where they didn't make a lot.
Dan, when you brought Malachi in, you envisioned almost the role that Hassan had on the 23-24 teams, stabilizing force off the bench. Today, with Silas in foul trouble, how much more did you see growth in Malachi in that role? Yeah, I mean, it's important. I still think, point guard play it's so critical. I think it looked tonight like the guard play looked that way in 23 and 24. Malachi made a huge difference. That's a difference to go off the bench with 14 and 9, and to make obviously that crazy three there, and to really get it back to doubles when we were wavering. I mean, that was he's the story of the game, and Tarris Reed's courage. I mean, Tarris is probably a week ahead of when he should play, but that guy was a total warrior today getting on the court.
Dan, how much of a focus this week was getting on the boards and being aggressive and getting all those loose balls? It felt like you guys sort of dominated that area in the game today.
Yeah, I mean, it was shameful, the Arizona game, just just for men, for our men, just to be dominated on the glass by another man, to be physically dominated by another man was a very difficult feeling for our team and our club and our players, and watching the clips of that game versus Arizona and just the way that they manhandled us, and the lack of the relentless efforts. So I thought we knew we had to do that today, and anything in the plus I think was a positive.
All right, last question, Coach, right here.
Dan, Petrovic came in and had a couple of strong plays running the offense before you guys seemed to kind of shut him down for the rest of the game. How much of a focus was he in the scouting report tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they've got that they got a great situation with Boswell and with him, and you can play them both together. If you get foul trouble with Boswell, you've got a guy who's a starting caliber point guard coming off the bench. The guy's, he's kind of like a crafty magician with the ball out there. He's a fun player to watch unless you got to play against him. The way he manipulates his on-ball defender in the ball screen game, and his change of pace and his vision. I think for them, it's, I've seen most teams in the country this year, either with teams we're playing or just, as a college basketball fan watching the top teams. I think they're going to be there at the end of the year as a high seed in the tournament and have a chance to contend for championships.
Some additional players.
Thank you.
One more.